Yes, guys, you want to win with Movie Lover 120 years? This is Movie Lover 120 for this review. Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with my 20th review, and that is for the movie starring the character I'm dressed up as, and that's A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. So, you're all wondering why. That's why my Freddy Krueger self is going to be taking over for this review. So, well, what's this movie about? Well, it's about a group of kids on Elm Street named Nancy Thomas, and Tina Gray, Rod Lane, and Glenn Lance, who are being tormented by a cloud killer in their dreams named Freddy Krueger. Nancy must think quickly as Freddy tries to pick them off one by one, wondering how you in your sleep. Who is there to save you? Now, just so you know, guys, this is one of my all-time favorite slasher movies, and and definitely one of my all-time favorite movie from Wes Craven. Rest in peace. He was one of the best directors ever, and it was very sad the day he passed away. And why does this? He did plenty of other great movies like Scream, The Hills Have Eyes, The Last House on the Left, and plenty of other classics. Why does this movie rock so much? Well, it has excellent effects done practically due to it being a pre-CG horror film, and incredible acting from Robert Englund, who will always be Freddy Krueger to me. Interesting, unique premise, dream sequences and deaths, and it spawned one of the most popular horror movie franchises in recent years. And for those of you that don't know, I think the sequels are fine. If I had to rank the series in chronological order, I'd go with the first film, New Nightmare, Elm Street 3, Freddy vs. Jason, Elm Street 4, Elm Street 2, Elm Street 5, and Freddy's Dead the Final Nightmare, second worst, and of course the all-time worst one is the remake. And here's my reaction to the 2010 remake. Yeah, that remake can go screw itself, because it sucks. But thankfully, since I'm almost onto my final week of the series, I thankfully don't have to talk about the remake. And Freddy Krueger, despite being a serial killer, is oddly likable. He has a dark sense of humor, which means the film can make some people laugh as much as it can scare them. Freddy's design is appropriately creepy and creative, like this. Good soundtrack. The false protagonist concept with Tina was great, and it led to a memorable scene, and it's the very first kill of the franchise, and easily the scariest scene in the movie. When I first saw it, it absolutely terrified me because of how well shot it was. Memorable and likable characters. Of course, one of the best deaths in the movie was Glenn Lance, when he gets sunk down to the bed with that TV and basically crushed by the TV that falls on him down there. It's also a very effective death scene, and another one of the creepiest scenes is when Nancy gets that fake call from Glenn that's Freddy Krueger imposing us, and his tongue comes through the phone and it freaks her out. Also a very effective and terrifying scene. Now, the bad qualities are a few of the special effects haven't aged well, most notably the obvious dummy that stands over Nancy's mother during the ending. And of course the other bad quality for me, would easily be the ending scene. Okay, honestly, I sound way too cringeworthy trying to impersonate Freddy Krueger, but I'm just gonna speak in my regular voice. So, the ending scene, Nancy finds her mother alive, and then he finds her friends alive and she goes to school with them, but then the car hood suddenly slams on the top, and it traps all her and her friends inside as the car just magically drives off and her mother waves goodbye to her. Her mom then sees those two kids who are chanting Freddy's theme, and then Freddy's hand comes in, grabs her mom, and drags her back to her door, and it's clear that it's just a dummy and they can't even try to hide it well. And as the kids just continue chanting their song, and the movie just abruptly ends. Which is kind of a bit confusing for me because somehow Elm Street 3, Nancy's revealed to be alive, and it is kind of technically the movie wasn't even supposed to be a downer ending. Wes Craven wanted to end on a much happier note because he didn't want any sequels to be made to this, but New Line Cinema wanted a cash cow franchise, much like with Halloween and Friday the 13th, and that was how we got the sequels. Now, they're not bad sequels, but I think the only bad sequels are Elm Street 2, no offense guys, if you do like it, it's your opinion, I respect it. Elm Street 5, Freddy's Dead, and of course the 2010 remake, although technically I think Freddy's Dead's the most cringeworthy, but personally for me the 2010 remake is worse. But all in all guys, I absolutely love this movie, and it's one of my favorite slasher movies of all time, and it's my favorite Wes Craven movie of all time, and here is how I would rank it.
I am going to give A Nightmare on Elm Street an 8.5 out of 10.
And that's pretty much it for my Nightmare on Elm Street review. And next week's Halloween review next Halloween horror movie review will be next week because this weekend's horror movie videos are going to be a little different. Tomorrow is actually going to be a top 5 worst horror movies to watch on Halloween, where I review some of the baddest horror, where I select some of the 5 awful horror movies ever, and what would pretty much ruin a good fun Halloween night. And then Sunday will be the, I think, Halloween DVD collection, horror movie DVD collection, so do stay tuned for those two. But anyway, Monday's review is going to be for, of course, the original John Carpenter 1978, aka my favorite slasher movie of all time, and that's of course for John Carpenter's Halloween, the one that started the whole franchise. I cannot wait for that one. But anyway guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.